Look, I thought this was a really good practice. Got some red zone work in. It was a good physical practice, a long practice. It was a little bit warmer today maybe than it's been a couple of the other days. But I thought we got some real good work done on both sides of the ball. We got some good stuff done in the kicking game. So go ahead.
Advantageous having the refs out here.
Yeah. Look, this was the first day to have them out here, and and I told them anything that they would call in a regular season game, I want to see the yellow on the film. So I wanted them to throw the flag as many times as they felt like there was a foul that occurred. It's the only way that we get an opportunity to coach our guys. So you get out here and there's no officiating, and you're still trying to coach up those things, and yet I don't know that the full impact of it really takes place until all of a sudden they start seeing these yellow hankies on the field, and they start to realize how that's hurting the football team. And so it was good to have those guys out here, and they'll be out here for the next couple of days. I think they're out here Saturday and Sunday, so we'll take full advantage of utilizing that to help educate our players and get better in that way.
Dallin Holker, the tight end, what have you seen out of him? Seems like he had a bunch of plays today. How would you describe him, as a rookie?
Yeah, I think, again, as a young, undrafted, free agent player, a guy that we liked coming out in the draft process, a guy that we thought could, kind of do some multiple things. I think he's probably a little further along as a receiving tight end than he is as a blocking tight end. And so I'd say that's an area that he's got to continue to work on and improve. What I do see and feel is, kind of a smart, savvy football player that, although he may not have an elite skill set necessarily, he's got football awareness and football intelligence, and that allows him to find soft spots and zones and things of that nature. He's really good when the picture changes. So, for a young guy, to be advanced in that way from a football intelligence standpoint, I think is pretty impressive.
Lee, how do you see Alontae continuing to develop? Do you think they want that challenge?
Look, I think the number one thing I've seen out of Alontae is a want to and a willingness to do the job that we're asking him to do. And I think, that's one of those things where, look, there's a lot of noise outside the building as to, should you be a slot corner or an outside corner? What's a slot corner get paid? What's an outside corner get paid? Blah, 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 all this BS. And it's like, look, just go and make plays, and if you do that, everything kind of takes care of itself. And so I think that's something that he's really embraced this season. He's embraced that role as the slot corner. There's still some things that he's got to improve on, but if you just said, what we're practice number 8 into training camp and where we're at now in practice number 8 compared to where we were last year at practice number 8, I think he's leaps and bounds ahead of where he was last year. And look, I see a guy that's, highly competitive and wants to, take that next step and be an elite, not an elite slot corner, not an elite outside corner, but an elite player in our league. And I think the thing I've been most impressed with is his mindset.
Now that you do have a handful of practices, where do you feel like the offense is just as far as settling into the scheme and executing how you want to?
Yeah, look, I think we're doing some good things. I think it's still a work in progress. I don't think it's anywhere near what we want it to be. And yet we're 8 practices into a training camp, in a new scheme, new system, got some new pieces in there. I like the progress that we're making. And yet I think there's still, a lot to be desired in terms of where we need to get to. But I do like the progress that we're making, and we're going to, we're not going to worry about, what the end result is yet. We're just going to worry about the process and how we continue to get better every day. And down there in the red area, I thought there were some plays where I thought the defense got the better end of it, and then there was a few plays where I thought the offense got the better end of it. And so that's the back and forth you want to see.
Dennis, we obviously saw Jake Hayner out here today. Did you get any update? He was going to have that appointment on the off day to find out if he was going to have to miss any time.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a procedure that's going to take place Monday. And so I think my anticipation as we sit here today would be that he'll probably miss practice on Monday. We have an off day on Tuesday, and I expect him to be back full go on Wednesday. So that would be the expectation as we sit here today.
I know you need to look at the film and all, but did this feel like one of Hayner's best
You're
days?
starting to get the picture, aren't you?
Yeah. I know where you're going. I'm trying to get ahead of it. Did this just on first glance, this feel like one of Hayner's best days?
Yeah, I can comment on that. I thought he had a good day today. I really did. I thought there were some good things that I saw out of him, some good throws. Look, we will get in there and we'll talk about, sometimes from my perspective as I'm watching the defense and then I'm watching the offense, and I just want to make sure, sometimes you see some of these plays and, man, they look like really good plays on the outside looking in. And yet, what I want to know is, are we going through our progressions? Are we taking what's given to us? And are we progressing through like we're supposed to be? Because I think that over the course of time, that's what's going to allow you to be successful consistently. You with me? And so, yeah, I saw some touchdown passes. I saw in the last period, a nice throw across the middle. So there were certainly some things that caught my eye in practice in a positive way in terms of the way he operated.
Dennis, along those same lines, I think we can overinflate if we see even two good plays from a guy here or there, two or three. But is Anthony Orji really adding those up?
Yeah, look, I think here's what I would say. I'd say that he's made a lot of improvement. And he's a guy that's caught my attention a little bit. He's way ahead of where he was last year. He's playing more confidently, which I think allows us to see a little bit more of the athleticism that we saw on his college tape that maybe we didn't see quite as much of last year. Part of that's probably because of some hesitancy of not knowing exactly what to do. So I like what I've seen out of him so far. I'm really excited about seeing what he can do when we get into these preseason games and see if that continues to be the trend as the lights come on.
What's your vision for his position flexibility? Where's his?
Well, right now he's played every position in the linebacker room. He's played the on-the-ball Sam. He's played the Mike. He played Mike today. He's played the weak side linebacker. So he's played every one of those positions. I think he's handled the volume, pretty well in that regard. And quite frankly, if you're a backup player, which is where he's at on the depth chart right now as we sit here today, as a backup player, your versatility and ability to play multiple positions and be able to help on special teams makes you more and more valuable. And so I think, for a guy like him is, you're trying to catch the attention of the head coach. You're trying to catch the attention of the special teams coordinator. And if you're doing those things and performing those things at a high level, then I think that bodes well for you.
For him, is it an energy factor, or what stands out about his game to you?
I think it's just more about the understanding of what to do, and now I'm seeing the athlete that I thought I was seeing on the college tape that I didn't necessarily see as much last year. And I think that is not uncommon for, a young player to be a little bit hesitant because they're not sure exactly what to do early on, and then as they get more experience, they start to understand what they're supposed to do, and now all of a sudden their natural ability takes over a little bit more.
So is the athlete what kind of attracted you guys to him in general?
Initially, yes. Yeah.
What went into the additions of two receivers, Callaway and
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that went into it was, you know, we're kind of nicked up at the position, you know, and here's what happens. There's the war of attrition that happens, you know, throughout the course of training camp, and it's not just the guys that, you know, get injured. Well, now all of a sudden you got the guys that are healthy, they're having to take more reps, and so there's an attrition that goes along with that. And so I think probably as much as anything, you know, it was about, you know, let's get some more legs in here, and see what these guys can do. I mean, obviously we've had Callaway, so I think we have an understanding of the type of player he is, and yet there's how does he fit into this scheme, you know? And then, you know, Nakua's a, you know, bigger, kind of more physical type receiver. Look, I mean, just a couple of plays caught my eye in terms of just blocking today. So, yeah, I think that's kind of what we're looking at.
How do you feel about Payton Turner's performance so far from a consistency standpoint?
Who?
Payton Turner, sorry.
Yeah, you know, he's another guy that you know, I think I'm seeing the things that we saw when we drafted this player, and so the consistency, I think, comes from his ability to stay out here on the field and participating, you know, and being able to stay healthy, because that's how you get better and that's how you become, you know, more consistent. And so I think that's the biggest thing for him. I mean, we've seen, look, even last year I thought he made some significant strides in training camp and really started out well in that Tennessee game, and then unfortunately he got injured, you know, and so I think that's probably to get to that consistency that we're looking for. It's really about being able to you know, to be out here day in and day out, and I think that's how you develop that consistency.
Just know that you had a lot of experience around Jahari as a player, now as a coach. What was kind of your reaction seeing him get in the ring?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. Jahari's a stud. You know, look, you know, I would say offensive guard's not the most glorious position in our game to play. I think I said it here yesterday. When you're talking about an offensive lineman, if you're talking about him, it's usually not great, you know. And look, Jahari, I don't think people really understand what a great player Jahari Evans was. You know, he's as good a guard as, you know, I've seen. And when you have, you know, Drew Brees, you know, as 6'1" quarterback, the interior of the pocket is precious territory. And I don't think anybody protected the interior of the pocket better than Jahari Evans did. He was a mauler in the run game, was great in protection, was a great teammate, tremendously hard worker, and I think going to be a pretty good coach. So I was ecstatic that he got that honor, and I don't think he's certainly going to be the last one out of that you know, regime that's going to find their way up into the Ring of Honor.
And were y'all able to actually keep that information from him until that team meeting?
To the best of my knowledge, okay, he was surprised by that information, and so it was a cool team moment. All right, thanks guys.
Thanks, guys. Clear path.